What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files Bachelor in Paradise Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by Allie and Amanda. And our wonderful guest today, Davis Burleson. How are you today, sir?
Hi, how are you? Good to be here.
Good to be with you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we how are you ladies doing? Just to check in. I know we have a lot to get into.
Liddy titty.
Interesting.
Someone's been watching Love is Blind.
Is that on?
Yeah, one
teaser?
person. Yeah, I feel like it was like Nancy. Just like really took that phrase and ran with
Which
it.
episode was that?
I-
You're a little
It
bit
was
ahead than we
Bachelorette.
are.
I think it was Bachelorette party.
Yes,
yeah.
she was
So-
going to get Liddy titty. They did like a pool party
It was
and they
this-
were day drinking.
And it was a situation where like you could tell she said that phrase once and was like, "This feels great," and then said it like 7 more times
I'm
that
gonna
day.
run with this.
Yeah.
Make it a bit.
Are you
know.
watching Love is Blind at all?
I haven't watched this season, but I watched the last one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot of TV going on. Right?
Invested. I was invested in the last one.
The only Michelle Collins will be with us on Thursday to break down episodes 8, 9, and 10 of Love is Blind, as well as other things going on in pop culture. So be sure to tune in. Michelle Collins, friend of show. She's never been on the podcast before. I've always wanted to have her on. Formerly of The View, she co-hosted After Paradise 1 year, actually, when I was announced as a Bachelor. So if everyone's trying to figure out Michelle, but she's super funny, perfect person to recap, and a huge Love is Blind fan. She's in the weeds. So that's all Thursday. And if you're just catching up on Love is Blind, we recapped episodes 1 through 7 on last week's Going Deeper, so go back, check that out. And we'll be what other topics are we talking about on Going Deeper? Do you know yet, Amanda?
I mean, we've got the Giselle Tom Brady divorce.
He
He just chose football.
just chose football.
He said goodbye to my wife of so many years.
13, no? 13
Yeah,
years
13.
together? Married.
For like, ugh.
and he retired for 1 year, not even 1 year fully.
Yeah,
You know,
no, he always does
He
this.
retired for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
I was thinking we could do a review of celebrity Halloween costumes
Yes.
we could do that. Yeah.
and some other topics to be announced.
To be announced. All right, well, tune in to Going Deeper with Michelle Collins, Love is Blind edition on Thursday. I think, are we ready to get into it?
We are ready.
Let's go.
Well, Madi Prewett officially got married in one of the most whirlwind
Congratulations, Madi Prewett.
relationships ever.
A warm round of applause.
A whirlwind relationship?
Well, just like fast.
I feel like we found out yesterday she was
it's
dating
just,
someone.
it's been, I mean, the wedding happened 3 months after their engagement, which happened 8 months into their relationship. So they still haven't even known each other like a year.
I mean, listen, they seem to be more of the conservative ilk, more traditional.
It was a big,
Was it a who's who?
bougie
Big bougie.
Texas wedding. They exchanged their vows in front of 400 people. Wow.
400.
Yes.
Wowee.
400.
Yeah.
How many were around how many were at Sarah and Wells's wedding?
Not 400.
It's a big wedding.
Less than 200, I'd guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, some Bachelor Nation people who were there, Victoria Fuller was there, Hannah Ann was there, and Kelly Flanagan was
Ooh.
there. My question is,
Was she given a +1?
was she given a +1? Because as we know, she has reunited with Pilot Peter.
I forgot about Pilot
who
Pete.
is Madi Prewett's ex.
Prewett, yeah.
So that would have
Kind
been
of.
a heck of a reunion.
Yeah.
Because Kelly posted a photo of her in the dress that she wore to the wedding. Well, so Kelly posted on Instagram the dress that she wore to the wedding, and the caption was about going to the wedding, but you don't see her with a date. They were just like solo shots. So we'll see. But Madi,
But he wasn't there, right?
I haven't seen any photos of him there.
No way.
I feel like somebody would have snapped a photo if he was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like he knows enough that like it would just like I think
It'd be a
it's pretty
distraction.
obvious that that's like a selfish thing to do for anyone. Like to bring him would be selfish. For him to show up would be selfish.
And I don't think it like ended well. Yeah.
Yeah. But Madi had a veil that had embroidered like words on the bottom of it, a la Hailey Bieber, who's said "till death do us part." But Madi said "worth the wait," which a
Well,
lot of people have been
Confused about.
yeah, because it did happen so fast.
Yeah.
So,
what
is it just like waiting of life?
Is it for fucking?
Waiting
Oh
for
my
sex?
God, yeah.
It really seems
Is it about? Is this veil about sex?
I hope not. That would
Finley.
be gross.
There's, as I see it, there's three options.
Worth the wait.
Either the veil is about sex, or it's about, I guess, like the marriage, which, you know, the relationship, or, you know, like the specific to the relationship, or the fact that, how old's Madi? 24?
26, it looks like.
She's 26. Okay. So either it's worth the wait. I had to wait till I was 26 to get married, or worth the wait. I finally can have sex, or worth the wait. We finally got married. I don't think it's like they've only been dating for a couple minutes, so it doesn't seem to be the relationship. I think it's more like, I think in Madi Prewett's world, waiting till she's 26, I think like in her world, she's like considered like the
like cosmopolitan independent woman.
yeah,
Yes.
like what's wrong with you? Like, are you ever gonna
Old
find
spinster,
someone?
yeah.
Especially too, she's probably surrounded around people that got married at like 23,
Yeah.
or 22,
Right, like
So-
engagement senior year of college.
right?
Like,
And so she's like, I'm the one that went off on my own, you know.
How old is he? He looks youthful.
He does look like a youthful.
And this
little
picture
man.
of them, yeah, they don't.
but with billionaires though, I'm always like, what do you have access to? Like, you might be young, or you might have some insane like zebra placenta cream that makes you not wrinkle.
Well, he's just him. I mean,
You never know.
you think he's already just moisturizing? You think that's what it is?
I'm just saying with billionaires,
I think he's 26 too, but he just looks like a baby. I mean,
He looks
boys
16.
mature.
He looks 16.
Boys mature later in life.
Yes.
maybe
He just looks like a little boy.
he gets some facial hair or something.
Well, worth the wait, I guess.
Worth the wait.
Also, I say this not in a shady way, but like it's giving high school graduation cap. You know, where you would like write something on it and then like toss it
Well,
up
that
in
was
the air.
going to be my question. Like, would you ever embroider? Because like Haley said, "Till death do us part," which to me was like a bit like alarming to put death on your wedding veil.
Yeah, well, you're
Because
gonna
I know it's like part of the vows,
it's
but
kind of like if you're gonna marry a pop star, you're like, no, we're dying together.
Right, Justin?
you
I
will
think
never sing
So-
another song about anyone else again.
And by death, I mean I'll fucking kill you. Worth the wait. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know if they thought that went through, because it just seems like it's about sex.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wouldn't be the phrase I would want. I don't know if I'd want a phrase.
Anyway, congratulations to them.
Yep.
And hopefully the wedding was super fun. Sounds like it was.
Yeah. So another wedding, very different venue, very different setup. Joe and Serena got married in a New York courthouse. And they said, we still plan on having a big wedding next fall that we are already planning. But with everything being so public in our relationship, having a private moment, just the two of us, felt so special and intimate. Natasha Parker was our witness, someone who has seen our relationship from the very beginning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor from a reliable source that they weren't planning on sharing that, but like someone else recorded them and kind of leaked it, so they got ahead of it,
Oh,
which kind of sucks.
yeah. Kaylen and Dean are engaged. So that's
yeah,
fun.
all right. Give it
Yeah.
up for Kaylen and Dean. Yeah.
Another round of applause.
I didn't know if that would ever happen.
Well, we could kind of see it coming because Dean said that he wouldn't propose to her unless she bought him a truck.
And she bought him a truck.
And she bought him a truck in August. And then he was saying on his podcast that he actually just gave her a placeholder ring because he got her a 4.5 carat diamond and accidentally put it in the junk drawer in his garage and lost it. So he's searching his garage for it right now, but he gave her one in the meantime.
4.5. These diamond sizes are getting out of control.
Put it in a junk
Yeah.
drawer.
Yeah, that's Dean.
Like, is it just floating around? At least put it in a box.
Isn't 4.5 carats like an absurd amount?
Someone put, yeah, see how much that would cost an average person.
What's a 4.5 carat wedding cost? What's a 4.5 carat ring?
Okay, I'm getting some I don't know.
It's all up to the 4 C's. Cut,
diamond.
clarity.
Give me a range.
4.5
Because-
emerald cut diamond.
This might be useful
ring.
information for me.
Come
Do
now.
some
We all know you have
research.
someone on the inside for that, so you will get a deal. I don't know. It's
A
hard.
4.5 carat diamond ring can range from 40,000 to as much as 450,000. This is from www.diamonds.pro.
So on the low end.
Reliable source.
Yes, incredibly.
Yikes.
Wow.
So
Oh.
that's floating around his garage.
Did he find it yet?
No word that he's found the actual one. She currently has the placeholder ring, which he says is not quite as nice.
But he got her 2 rings.
This is the replacement that she currently has.
So he bought one, lost it in his garage, and then got a
while
replacement
he's searching for that. Yeah.
But also, isn't it not smart for him to share with the world that he lost a huge diamond ring in his garage? Like, wouldn't that be kind of ripe for
Someone's going to
thieves?
bling ring his house. Just go find. Well, if he can't find it, it's going to take a burglar a long time.
Maybe he's doing that on purpose to get someone to come look for him, and then when they find it, they'll
arrest
the
him.
alarm will go off, and he'll just
He's
be
trying to
standing
coax him
by.
out.
Yeah, there's like they're on what's it called? Where the cops sit outside in a car, like a stakeout.
Yeah. Install some cameras.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, congratulations to them.
Yeah. And I love how you said, moral of the story is don't put your engagement ring in a junk drawer, as if like we all needed to learn that lesson. I was like, Dean, no one else is doing that.
We read that fairy tale a long time ago, Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. A lot of love, a lot of marriage, a lot of diamond rings going missing. There's your Bachelor tea.
You want to...
And other than the happiness of commitment, a question mark to round us out. Greg and Victoria? Question mark? Are a potential new Bachelor couple. They've been spotted out in Italy together. There have been multiple photos and videos of them traveling abroad, which might then spoil the results of Bachelor in Paradise. Obviously, she's on the current season. People are wondering what the timeline was. Was there any sort of cheating or what the vibe is between Greg and Victoria?
Here's what we don't normally talk about unverified stories as a rule. As a reminder, we only talk about the things that people post themselves and comment on themselves. So this wouldn't fall under that category. However, I did talk to a reliable source where I feel like it is okay to make an exception to this story. That was Greg and Victoria in those photos. I mean, it was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
They were in Rome. Here's what I know. From the source, the source has said there was no infidelity, no cheating of any kind. And questions around timelines and things of that nature will be discussed and answered at the appropriate time.
At the reunion?
Probably at the reunion or maybe on a podcast.
Ideally
on
this
a
podcast.
On a podcast.
Yeah, ideally on this podcast. We shall see. But that is what I was told. I don't know much more information other than that, but I am curious how this, I assume, relationship started.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think friends went to Rome. Yeah. You know, but I am curious what this is now and what happened between now and then. But it sounds like we will get our answers sooner rather than later.
If you had to bet any amount of money on the catalyst being your lovely girlfriend's birthday party, how much money would you put down on that?
I would put down a ton of money and say 0. I don't, like, they didn't meet there for the first time.
Yeah.
So there also, nothing was going on there, you know. So, but like I said, I know they didn't meet there.
Yeah.
So, like, and nothing went on there. So, like, whatever happened, like, certainly they probably interacted. They probably talked. But if you're asking me if that was the catalyst, I would say 0%. And I would bet any amount of money on it.
Great.
Yeah.
Do we ship them as people?
Well, I'm biased. I'm friends with both of them.
Yeah. They're both great people.
Yeah.
Both of them. They're both very nice. Yeah.
I'm very much rooting for.
You'd probably officiate.
Oh my God.
No,
Nick is an
not.
officiant.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably not. But I'm rooting for them. I don't know much, but I'm excited to hear more. And I hope it's for the best. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. When it comes to choosing a wireless plan, you're forced to compromise. But what if you didn't have to? What if you could get reliable service without a contract and save money? Introducing Total by Verizon, a new no-contract, no-credit check carrier for you and your family with plans starting at just $30 per month on America's most reliable 5G network. Sacrifice nothing, experience everything. Total by Verizon is available at totalbyverizon.com and at retailers nationwide. Based on first-place rankings and Root Metrics first half 2022 5G assessments of 125 metros. Experiences vary, not an endorsement. Let's get into it. So as it stands, I feel like we have some important topics to discuss. So we have, as I see it, Johnny and Victoria. Let's start with Johnny and Victoria. How about we start with there? Because we have Johnny, Victoria, and Alex. Then we have the return of Justin and Eliza and Rodney and that whole conversation. Similar with Kate and Logan, I want you to tell me not to go. I want the who's right, who's wrong. I think it's a very interesting conversation. I think it's very relatable. I am enjoying this season of Paradise. I think like never before they're giving us real world conversations that are happening, where so much of Bachelor is just like trauma dumping and trauma bonding and like the beats of their show. And it's not really real world shit, you know? Like you maybe extrapolate some real world shit from it, but like Paradise, we're getting some real world situations here and real, like wanting someone to like, you know, pursue them rather than be pursued. And then you have men, you know, like Rodney and Logan also saying, hey, I want to feel validated as well. I want to know that I feel special. Aaron, that was a theme through all the men. And then we have, obviously, and we'll end with Aaron and Genevieve. My biggest take on Aaron, man needs therapy, and a lot of it. He needs lots and lots of therapy. We'll get into more specifics, but that was my takeaway. So much therapy. He needs to be told it's okay to cry.
He did cry.
But he needs to be told it's okay. There's a lot going on inside that man.
I'd still fuck him.
Oh. Hot take, Allie.
You know?
Scolding.
I didn't say he was unfuckable. I just, like, a lot of men need therapy.
You have alluded to him not being a closer in the past.
Yeah.
Separate from the therapy
Separate.
thing.
That has nothing to do with therapy. I don't think men
He's
should
going to go to therapy to learn how to close.
I don't think men should get therapy to learn how to close. It might help, you know, because, you know, at the end of the day, an inability to close speaks to maybe something going on inside or an insecurity or something of that nature. Anyway, let's get into Johnny and Victoria. So it kind of opens up, obviously, with the love triangle between Alex, Johnny, and Victoria. It seems like I got the impression that once this episode started, that the Alex of it all was a lot to do about nothing, it felt like. Did anyone else agree with that? I only say this because they went on, like, I don't know, they went to a sauna, and over, like, in a matter of, I guess, hours, they were totally in love. And Alex was, you know,
but then
not relevant.
It was a bit confusing, though, because even Alex said, like, when he was pulling her and, like, before the rose ceremony, when he set up that little, like, I think it was like a wine little station for the two of them, he said, if she, like, I'm giving her opportunities to turn me down, or if she wasn't interested in pursuing this further, I'm giving her opportunities to tell me that, and she isn't. So does that reflect poorly on Victoria then, if she was so set on Johnny to entertain Alex at all?
What do you mean so set on Johnny?
After the sauna date. That was after the rose
ceremony. I think
ceremony.
That was before. Yeah, no.
So she decided for the rose ceremony, and then she really committed.
The date was after the rose ceremony. Right. And so to me, the rose ceremony was basically Victoria saying, you know, I was unsure. I hung out with this Alex guy for a couple of days while I wasn't able to hang around with Johnny. And you poured me some wine, but ultimately I'm going to stick with Johnny and see where this goes.
It kind of reminded me of when you're applying for jobs and you apply for another job and use that offer as like bargaining power with the one that you actually want, where you're like, listen, I want to work for you. I want this to work out, but this other job is offering full healthcare benefits. Like
he checked all the boxes.
Yes.
All the boxes.
So when Johnny and Victoria were on a date, it reminded me how on Gabby's season, if we don't remember, that the reason that Gabby and Johnny broke up was because Johnny wasn't ready for an engagement or the seriousness of a relationship that Gabby so clearly articulated and stated. You know, Gabby's set an expectation and a boundary around this. Johnny was like, hey, listen, you're great. We have fun. We laugh together, but I don't know if I'm there. Totally respect that. It is literally 5 weeks later or less. I don't know, less than 2 months from when Johnny left Bachelorette and couldn't commit to an engagement to when he went on the beaches of Paradise and met Victoria. And what I find most fascinating about this, and again, real world, like for all the people out there, we talk about situationships and fuckboys and all this, Johnny is a perfect example of, like, you know, if he wanted to, he would type of thing. And what I mean by that is the difference between Johnny being not ready for Gabby and ready for Victoria is that he just likes Victoria more. You see Johnny trying to convince himself and Victoria when Victoria's asking some very like reasonable questions, and questions about their compatibility. Hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is where I'm at in my life. This is what I'm ready for. She's she's been very clear that she's ready to like really settle down and start a family. Like, not that she like needs to have babies tomorrow, but like, she's not like ready. She's not looking for someone who's still figuring out who they are or what they want to do with their life or what they want to do for a career, or like someone who's like thinking, I want to have kids someday, but that someday might be like 5 or 6, 7 years down the road, which is also a total reasonable thing to want. If you're Johnny, who is 25, 26, like that's a reasonable thing. It seemed reasonable when he wasn't ready to want to get engaged with Gabby, but all of a sudden he's trying to convince Victoria and subsequently himself that he's ready. And this all comes down to, I think he's just more physically attracted, or he's just more in, whatever the reason, he's just more into Victoria. And when we're more into someone, it's amazing what we'll convince ourselves of what we're ready for. That we just weeks ago, we're like, no, like I'm not looking for a relationship right now. I don't think I'm ready. All these like real world kind of situations where we're dating someone and it seems like it's going well and we're having fun. We're like, well, I'm just not ready though. Like, I'm just kind of figuring things out. It's amazing what we use as an excuse one day, and then we'll try to like argue against with someone else. And what's the difference? The difference is the person. One person was named Gabby, the other person's named Victoria, because other than that, the difference is literally a matter of weeks.
He literally probably could have walked from the beaches of Mexico where he was in his season to these beaches right here. Like, Did he even come back to the States? We don't know.
It's like, he doesn't have a lot of swimsuits.
Get him a life raft and he'll make it over on a big gust of wind.
Yeah, he barely did. Also, something to point out, what we haven't seen is a conversation between Johnny and Victoria that goes something like this. Hey, listen, I don't know if you know this, but I was recently on this show called The Bachelorette, and you probably know that I was there. And why did... why did it end? I went pretty far. I went all the way to the fantasy suites, and it ended because ultimately it was decided that I wasn't ready. Don't you feel like that would be...
I feel like he probably wanted to have that off camera though, so that way he could actually give her the tea.
Yeah, but that's going to throw Victoria for a loop because she's going to think that he's going to pull the same shit with her.
This was tea that he was able to share on The Bachelorette. Why can't he share it? Now, and I'm not talking about the TT. I'm talking about like he stated on camera to Gabby as a reason why he wasn't ready. That was his reason. That was his out. And we all said, you know what, Johnny? We understand. Good for you. Like, you might not be like at a place in your life to be mature enough to like have kids and settle down, but you're mature enough to own that. You're mature enough to say that. Good for you, Johnny. Good for you. And now weeks later, he's like, no, I'm ready. And I want to show you I'm ready.
Well, I think he said, I think I can get there. Like, it felt like he was using a lot of language that was like, I could be ready.
I was going to say, he wasn't really answering any of her questions. Like, what are your career goals? Are you ready to have kids? Are you ready to get engaged? And he was just kind of very much deflecting.
And he was defensive about it. And that's what I'm saying. He didn't just own the fact with Victoria that like, hey, I just want to say like, I know you have concerns about me not being ready. And that was literally the reason why I broke up with my last girlfriend, if you want to call it, or that's why. And in very similar surroundings with more time, granted it's more time but less time together, so depending on how you want to value that. But either way, my question, I don't have an answer to this, I'd want to know if Victoria knew that. Like, what was Victoria's understanding of that breakup and Johnny's like honesty around that and his willingness to be ready? And did that play a role and the fallout that seems to be if they end up together, Johnny and Victoria, if they leave Paradise together only to, because if they did, we know they broke up because she seems to be eating pizza with Greg. Did that play a role? How transparent was Johnny? If you're going to get engaged to someone in a matter of weeks, you need to be pretty fucking honest, and you need to be pretty like upfront about like some things. And I just find it interesting that so much of the conversation is about Johnny's ability to be ready to give Victoria what she knows she's ready for. And they're not having that conversation.
Davis, what did you think about like Alex versus Johnny for Victoria?
That's interesting because honestly, my personal opinion, I didn't really see Johnny and Victoria together. Like every time they would speak, it was, very serious. And he would seem very into her when he was talking about her when he wasn't with her. But then when they were together, it didn't really seem like he was head over heels in love with her. And then she she seemed to be very into Alex, in my opinion. I mean, she was checking all the boxes, but I find it interesting. I was relating it to myself too, because sometimes I'll be with somebody and I'm like, okay, do I actually like them, or am I only talking to them because they have a great job and they check all these boxes? And it's an interesting discussion because she kind of had the polar opposite.
Yeah, I'd be curious because I can see why she invested this time in Johnny. Then Alex shows up. My guess is her decision was more around I've built all this with Johnny, so I got to see it through.
Right.
And with Alex, I think we posed this question last week. If Alex and Johnny and Victoria all showed up on the beach at the same time, I think our guess is it would be a very different story.
Also, I think if Johnny had been more honest, or like you said, told her about how his time with Gabby ended, it would have maybe increased her doubts about him,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe she would have leaned more toward Alex.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I do think a moment, and I know we'll get into this a lot more later, but I do think a moment where I really saw Johnny and Victoria being united was when I realized how much they both clearly love tea. Like when Aaron and Jen were fighting on the big bed, they were the first people to notice. Their ears perked up.
They're facing the other way, but they're
yeah, and they're not looking at each other so subtly, being like, they're fighting, look at them. And then
do we leave? Do we leave? Do we stay? Do we stay?
The last one's on the damn bed.
Yes, the last one's on the bed, and they were like, it looks weird if we stay. There was a definitive moment of them being like, we can't.
Yeah, and even for when Genevieve was leaving, Victoria's behind the bushes listening. So Victoria loves it.
She's like, it's too late now. We just got to stay. It's like, no, you can walk away at any point in time. But also, I get wanting the tea.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. On the date, though, Johnny was less than capable of really opening up.
Oh my gosh, Victoria goes first, does this whole her little speech about new beginnings, and that's her intention. And he goes,
yeah.
New beginnings.
He goes, yeah, new beginnings. Totally. Something like that. You got to be able to open up and talk and express yourself. And is Johnny going to be able to do that? Is Johnny blaming cameras? And is it really the cameras? Because sometimes it's not just the cameras. It's hard to open up. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to sit across from someone that you were just getting to know and have strong feelings for, and then talk about your fears and insecurities and things like that. Not easy for anyone to do. And maybe Johnny's just not there, but that speaks to maybe his lack of ability to get to where Victoria wants to be.
I think he did get a little bit vulnerable when he was talking about fear of abandonment.
Yeah.
Where he was like, sometimes I owe, and people leave. Yeah. So it took him a while to get there, but I do think he was pushing himself.
He also said, too, he fears not being good enough for Victoria, which I thought was an interesting thing for him to admit. Just to put that out there.
Yeah, but I guess, yeah. That often, that can be a fear when you are dating someone that how do you find that balance? When we all want to meet someone that we're really excited about, right? We physically attracted to, they have a good resume, and that's always nice. But with that comes potential insecurity of feeling like, how did I land this person?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, you get imposter syndrome. And is that a you problem or a they problem? Is your imposter syndrome hey, listen, in a relationship, we want to be supportive, but what is that person that you don't feel good enough for supposed to do with that?
Yeah. Wait, Davis, I'm curious. What did you think about when they were on the date and then we have the flashback back to the beach and the guys are like, oh, I can see it now. He'll turn in his surfboard and put on the apron and take out the cookies and be the stay-at-home dad. And they were painting this picture of what their future would look like if he and Victoria ended up together.
I find it interesting because I think the boys know a lot about their relationship because Johnny loves to talk about her when they're not together. And I think that's a good sign of how much he does like her. Because I think the way you talk about somebody when your partner's not around is a good sign as to how much you like them. So, yeah.
I believe he really likes her.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't think they're that compatible.
I agree.
And I think Victoria's trying to have these conversations about their compatibility, and Johnny is just like, no, I like you, and I just want to figure out how to make this work. We've all been a Johnny before. I know I have. We've all tried to force a square peg into a round hole, so to speak, and stubbornly convince yourself and convince them and all your friends that no, we're great together and we'll fight through this and love will conquer all. But
are they too comfortable? They're.
I think they're too. I think Johnny's too afraid to face the possibility that.
I see, but what you're kind of saying is like they're in this flow of relationship where it's fun and they don't want it to feel bad.
Right. Yeah.
Well, kind of, yeah, I guess like the I don't know, maybe it's the Aaron mentality of let's just like have fun and bro out and like just like end up in love, you know? Like it's just that's like that's all we gotta do. Let's just like have fun. Why gotta ruin it by like having serious conversations and spending time together? Let's just have fun. I just want to have fun.
In my future struggles in life, I'm gonna wish I was back on this beach with my friends.
Just want to have fun. Anyway, like I don't want to get to know you. It's like just talk about real shit. I just want to have fun. Like we have fun, bro. Anyway, so yeah, Johnny and Victoria. It's interesting how to try to figure out how to talk about them now, knowing that they're probably not together.
Which also just shocks me. I'm like, why is now the time where Victoria and Greg were like, you know what we should do? Let's go to Rome. Like two somewhat public figures, like who will definitely get recognized together while my season is airing. Let's go to Rome.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's a valid question. And there's one I'm confident has an answer. That's all we'll say about that.
All we'll say.
Yeah.
Should we get into like Rodney, Eliza, Justin madness?
Yeah, up next,
Ooh.
Justin returns. I hated this for Justin as he walked down the steps. I just felt like he had overstayed his welcome.
Can we talk about Jesse meeting him at the landing, being like,
So why are you here?
you are not who I was expecting. I'm like, come on, Jesse. Like, come on. You didn't greet, did he? He did greet the twins, but I was like, you have to know who's coming.
It really shows you there are no rules on this show.
Yeah.
Just randomly bring someone back. I love how they try to sell it as like his second time.
Yeah, a restart.
Yeah, it was like, so, you know how I always get like dinged for being like, oh, you went on the show 4 times? Has Justin now been on Paradise twice?
Definitely not.
No, because it's one season.
Yeah. Same season
They try
doesn't
to make it seem like it was a completely different experience.
Yeah.
They treated it like a brand new arrival.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally had to come down the, no? Okay. So.
No, well, I'm just thinking about it because I guess it seems like Justin was like kind of protected a little bit in the way that they framed it. Or rather, sometimes when someone goes on to like for a second try, like they make them look lame as hell. Like it is embarrassing for the person.
Oh, I actually made another point. And then Davis, I want to hear your thoughts on Justin. But talk about the power of music. When it was Johnny and Victoria, and Victoria's talking about her feelings for Johnny and Alex. She's in the middle of a love triangle and they're playing romantic music. They're just like, I don't know what the music was, but it was very romantic. It was very soothing. It was very uplifting. It made you feel like love was in the air. And this was for a love triangle. And most love triangles, you hear the dun dun, like the suspense, like, what's going to happen, like the type of music where like at the end of the song someone's going to die, and it's just amazing. And then clearly that like the show is telling you to like Johnny and Victoria, and I just thought that was really fascinating. The music they chose to play while Victoria was talking about deciding between 2 men. If it was a guy talking about 2 women, it would be like dun, 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 dun. Who does he have to kill to date the other person? It's interesting stuff. I don't know, but
totally.
The music really plays a role. Davis, how do you feel about Justin? What's your read on Justin?
I don't really like Justin.
You don't like Justin. What don't you like about Justin? And I say this as I consider Justin a friend, but at the same time, I don't like Justin on Paradise either.
Yeah. Well, first, I hate the necklace that he's wearing. I want him to take it off so bad.
It might be the mic, though. Is it the mic?
No, because it's not the same
separate
necklace
one.
as the other guys.
It's that like pearl with the smiley faces.
It's a
and
statement.
Okay.
He brought that himself.
He's excited about the necklace.
Yeah.
He's very excited about it. It never comes off. But I don't know. I need to think about it. I can talk about the date between Eliza and Justin and all that stuff.
So
yeah, and the conversation, like I feel like we should get into the Eliza Rodney conversation pre-Justin date.
Or just the theme of these 2 shows was what started with Rodney and Eliza was the I want you to tell me not to go. Mm-hmm. I want you to be more assertive. It's kind of traditional, kind of like without saying it, they were talking about more like kind of alpha male energy that they were desiring.
Even Eliza said at the end, I think, of the second episode, because Rodney said something along the lines of, "Oh, I didn't want to make a scene." She said, "I want someone to care enough that they do make a scene." And I thought that was a perfect way of.
What do we think about that? Because it really tried to thread the needle between no, I don't think anything necessarily Eliza or Rodney said was wrong, but it really the things specifically Eliza, it could turn toxic fast. You know what I'm saying? It's what are we saying here?
Well, in her
but at
interview,
the same time, I recognize someone's desire to want to be pursued, and which is, I thought it was really interesting. You heard it from the men too.
I think it has a lot to do with I kind of agree with, I'm on Rodney's side for this, and especially with the whole fighting for me. And I think it's because if it was in real life, I would totally be on Eliza's side. But I think when they were having that conversation, Rodney in his head was like, I get it. We're on a show. There's other people. That's what we're here for. We're here to meet new people. And I don't want you to go, but I support your decision. And then I hope what I'm hoping is that you go on this date and you realize that you want to be with me. That's what I'm hoping for. But I'm not gonna fight and stop you. You know what I mean?
Totally. And I think Eliza and Kate made this, here's where they lost me, because I understood their argument, right?
Yes,
I understood hey, it's just well, if you don't care if I go, I'm going to go. I understood that. But both Eliza and Kate said yes to the dates before they talked to the guys.
I think Eliza said...
No, she said yes. She specifically said yes.
I thought she was I need to have a conversation.
Are you sure?
Well, I think the difference is Justin came down, only pulled Eliza. They were on that daybed, and he basically asked her on the date on that daybed, but it wasn't a public ask, as opposed to Hayden with Kate, who had pulled multiple people. So it wasn't a for sure thing. And it was kind of out of left field that he said Kate in front of everyone. But
do you know which episode it was? I want to look. I'm going to bring that up.
It was the first one. But Eliza,
I think
knew that he was asking her.
I think Eliza definitely knew that the date was hers if she wanted it. I just remember her using a lot of conditional language going into her conversation with Rodney, being I don't know if I'm going to say yes or not.
I'll find out right now. All right, yeah. So Justin said, would you like to go on this date? Eliza says yes. And I just think Eliza and Kate, this was I'm all for this was such a great opportunity for them to check in, let them know, communicate with these people what they want, what their expectations are. And it would have made a total sense for Eliza. Justin comes down, pulls her aside. He's like, I'm here for you. She's very flattered. Great. That's all normal. I understand that. But Eliza could be I'm very flattered. Thank you for asking me this. I'm really flattered. I'm glowing. Thank you for making me feel special. But I have, I've been hanging out with Rodney. I need to go before, I say anything, I need to talk to Rodney, right? And so she goes to Rodney and says, hey, Justin just asked me on a date. I'll be honest with you, he really, he's here for me, and that made me feel flattered, but I love what we have so far. But if I'm being honest, I want to know where we're, I want to know that you want to be with me, or where are we at here? Or just check in, or tell her what she wants, or even ask, even though we don't like to ask what in that situation. Then Rodney could have been well, no, I don't want you to go on this date, But once Eliza says yes, then it becomes a different conversation for Rodney. Then he has to say, well, then Rodney has to stop her from going. It's she said yes. Now he has to be well, I don't want you to do that. And I don't feel comfortable. I've had this I don't, as a guy who wants to be, in a heterosexual relationship, supportive and empowering, and you make your choice. If you want to make me a priority, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You do what you want to do, And so once she said yes, I think that completely shifted what she was asking Rodney to do. It wasn't hey, I've been asked on this, and well, I don't know, but before I answer him, I'm going to check in and with you, and see where we're at. Where do you see this going? What do you want? Is it really just you and us? Are you willing to put in the work? These are my expectations. If I'm going to say no to any more dates, I want X, Y, and Z. And Rodney's great, I want X, Y, and Z too. I don't want you to go. That could have been a really healthy conversation. And Eliza still could have felt she was being validated and felt special just by saying, I want all these things, and Rodney being I want to give you all these things. But that's not what she said. It was kind of passive aggressive. Like, I want you to know what I want, and I want you to figure it out, and I want you to stop me from going on this date. I mean, like, yeah.
I really see both sides because I think with Rodney, he's probably going into this being like, I don't want to look controlling. Like, that's a terrible look for me. Like, I don't want to look like I'm overbearing or overstepping. And also, I don't want to look like a hypocrite. Like, I went on a date with Eliza when I was seeing Lace. Like, those are sort of that's the way things have gone. And I want to be really careful about like not creating a standard that feels unfair. So I see that from him. I also think, though, that like during the conversation, Eliza did say verbatim, I kind of want you to tell me not to go.
But he said,
I don't want you to go.
Selfishly, I don't want you to go.
But if that's your choice, that's your choice.
Exactly.
She wanted him to say, if you go on this date, I won't be waiting for you when I come back.
Which is not what you want in a life partner.
No.
or on the beaches of paradise, because they are on the beaches of paradise. And yes, I do think more than anything, Rodney is focused on not looking like a bad guy. I think that is a huge thought. Like, that is front and center. I think a lot of these, I think Rodney for sure is focused on not looking like a bad guy. And I don't blame him. And they are in paradise. And to your point, Amanda, he did literally do the same thing to Lace. So like, if you are a hypocrite on the beaches of paradise, they will call you out. Like, that's like rule number one. Like, don't be a hypocrite, because if you are, they'll throw that in your face. And so, yeah, he's just trying to be understanding. So like, short of him saying, well, I won't be here when you come back. Now, granted, Rodney could have been like, listen, if we were trying to critique what Rodney said and try to thread the needle, I mean, he could have been a little bit more assertive with, I really like you. And I really feel like the past few days have been like the best 3 days I've ever had and really intense. And you're your own person. You're going to do what you want, but it would be devastating to me if you go. I think he could have, his way out of this conversation would be to center his feelings and his vulnerability and express that more openly with Eliza. And I think he could have accomplished what Eliza wanted him to accomplish without being
like doing what he feared of doing, of looking controlling or hypocritical.
Sure, but I also think that's asking a lot. I think a lot that would have asked Rodney to do all the heavy lifting while Eliza did none. Eliza, all she wanted to do is say, I'm the hot commodity. I got two guys going after me right now. I'm in a position of power, so I'm in a position to tell both these guys what I want and see who's willing to do it. And that's not very fair if you're especially more invested in one relationship and you have basically a new threat coming in. Like, what's that?
It seemed very off-brand to her because I feel like...
What's her brand? We don't know anything about her.
I just remember like on her
Scrapbook?
season, like there was a time where she didn't get a group date and then she took like the Bachelor aside after the fact. It was Clayton's season, right?
Yeah, the scrapbook.
And then like she like...
Seems lovely.
So I think...
We don't know much about her.
But she stayed positive without getting like a ton of attention on Clayton's season. I think this is ultimately kind of a question about like attention and validation, which are both like normal things and topics of conversation in relationships, even though sometimes I think it can be really stigmatized to be like, can you pay more attention to me? But it felt like it was coming from a place of like insecurity or...
Yeah, Davis, what did you think about her like interview moments when she was talking about... Like, she clearly was, like, glowing. She was like, these two guys want me. Like, oh, my gosh, I've never felt this way. And then in that same interview shot, after when she's recounting what happened with Rodney, she bursts into tears. So what is this, like, wave of emotion that she's riding?
I think she was just really excited that two men were fighting for her. I don't know if she's had that before. I think for me, too, if that would happen to me, I would be kind of excited, too. You know, it's probably a good feeling to her. But, yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think she always knew that she liked Rodney more, and I think she wanted to experiment and test and see what he would do. I feel like the whole Justin thing was kind of
toxic.
Oh, for sure,
Okay.
For sure. I think she was honestly trying. Like I feel like the Justin thing was kind of an experiment. After the date with Justin, she wasn't dead set sold on him. Still, was she?
I don't think so.
No.
But they're kissing under the fireworks.
They were, but she wasn't dead set even after when she got back. No.
She was still deciding.
What
What did you think of her and Rodney's conversation after Justin's date? Do we remember?
No, I do. I
thought it was terrible.
I'm hesitant to say it because I fucking love Eliza. I think she is so positive and wonderful and like has so many good qualities. But I did not like the way that she was engaging in that conversation felt
Horrible.
like It's like, throw this man a goddamn bone. He's doing his best and he's showing so much like eyes on the prize. Like he's not getting like taking the bait and getting heated. He's just saying like, moving forward, what can we do? Moving forward.
Yeah, no, she was not setting him up for failure, but she didn't want him to succeed in that moment. Because she's just like, hey, you know, Rodney was like, hey, okay. It sounded like Rodney heard through the grapevine of what she wanted. You know, because Rodney's like, oh, if she wants a more like an assertive guy, that's what I'll do. All right, great. Finally, your expectations were communicated to me, not by you, but by like someone else. Mm-hmm. All right, great. Now I can do something with this expectation. And he went down and he tried to talk to Eliza, which, by the way, I think she's lovely too. She's gorgeous. She's sweet. She seems nice. She really seems like a wonderful person, and I'm sure she is. But at the same time, not communicating very effectively in this situation. And like, yeah. And then Rodney was just like, she was giving him basically like too much, too little. It's like, wait, I didn't even find this out from you. I found this out from someone else that you like this. And now I'm here to say, great, now that I know, I want to give this to you. I want to do these things. And then he tried to express himself and she was like, well, actions speak louder than words. But no, these are his actions. He's literally saying to you after finding out that I want to do that. Like it's important to communicate. Like, yeah, I guess give him time, but what does that mean?
Well,
you want me to stop you from going on another date with someone else?
It's ironic because she's like, actions speak louder than words. But all she like wanted from him was words at the beginning. She wanted him to just say, like, do not go on this date. Like, I will, like, that kind of. So I'm.
Yeah, what do you mean action? Like, lock you in a room? Like, what? Like, kidnap you? Like, I don't.
I have a theory.
How could we? Yeah, I wanted Rodney to be like, how can I be successful in this
challenges
moment?
Justin to a fist fight on the beach.
It almost seems like kind of like Eliza's like toxic side in her, like wanted to be like, I kind of want you guys to fight to the death.
I mean, wondering like, why did this toxic side come out of her? Because like, that's what I meant when I was saying like insecure. I don't think she's an insecure person. I think there's something about this situation that's like highlighting insecurities. And I have a theory that because Rodney is just this like amazing guy who's so nice, there's not as big of a difference between the way he treats other people and then the way he treats her as with like all the other men on the beach. Like with Johnny, for example, like he's googly-eyed over Victoria and he's very clearly very like cordial and cool to everyone else. But like Rodney is just such an attentive, warm, supportive guy that I think she's maybe like, can you make it a difference between the way you treat me and the way you treat all of our friends?
That's a really good, that's a really good theory. And I love Rodney. He isn't a very agreeable person and he's a very sweet person and everyone loves Rodney and this is all true. But yeah, I think there's a fairness to that where it's just like, you know, it's not like I'm looking for the asshole or the jerk or whatever, but I just want someone who's going to be willing to mix it up, especially if it's for me. And Rodney doesn't insert himself in conflict and he doesn't, you know, and I think I could see Eliza reading that as, is this guy really going to deliver when I need him to deliver most? Or is he just going to be, you know, speaking in platitudes and saying nice things? Is he really going to step up? And I think that's fair. I understand if that's the case, I would understand that. Nevertheless, it doesn't like take Eliza off the hook
for like not communicating.
Yeah, for not communicating that effectively. And to say like, sometimes I just feel like, I don't know if I feel the difference between like the affection you show to me versus the affection you show to the whole group. Everyone loves you, man. And like some people are a little bit more like I am. Like, I don't show love to everybody. You know, it's very clear sometimes with people, you know where you stand. And like, but when the people are in my circle, they feel like they know where I stand with them. You know,
it's like you're like, you know how people always say like, oh, a cat's love like means more because they hate almost everyone. So they finally learn to nix the cat.
I'm way more of a cat, than a dog. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And Rodney's like the golden retriever.
Rodney's
that
the golden
loves.
retriever.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if you love me or just fucking love, you know?
Yeah.
I can see that.
But I also feel like Rodney was set up to fail in a way because she kept focusing on like intention and being intentional and pursuing. And I'm like, it's so hard to compare to a dude who literally is coming back to paradise for the second time with one date card for you versus someone that you were interested in. And clearly Rodney wanted to meet her and was attracted to her from the moment they met. But they did have more of like a traditional organic Bachelor in Paradise union as opposed to a man on a mission.
Yeah. Or maybe that's where Rodney could have been a better communicator too. He could have been like, maybe I'm taking this for granted because I guess you weren't here. But I was in another relationship and I just like completely swerved for you, you know? And like, I caught some heat for that, but like, I was so drawn to you and so like taken back by you. And I felt this instant connection for you that like, I kind of honestly feel a little guilt for how I handled that with Lace. I handled it the best I could. But like,
I chose you in a big way.
I chose you in a big way.
But Eliza was there for that. She watched that all go down.
Maybe sometimes you need to be reminded. I'm not saying like no, Rodney fucked up, and we're just like discussing ways in which both of them could have communicated more effectively. Not necessarily from a matter of like, oh, I can't believe you said that. I don't think either of them said anything like all that bad. What I loved about it was very relatable. It was very incredibly relatable. And that's what I loved about these 2 episodes is that, you know, the Rodneys, Elizas of the world, the Kates and Logans, the Aaron and Genevieves, you have 6 people, 2 couples who like, what's clear from the audience standpoint is they all like each other. They all want to make this work, it seems like. And yet they're finding ways to like butt heads. And not be on the same page. And it all comes down to generally the insecurity of how much do you really like me, you know, and wanting to be chosen and picked and validated and secure. And right now, everyone's more focused on feeling validated rather than giving. Aaron, not to jump around, but Aaron literally fucking said to Genevieve, well, in one of their like ridiculous fights, he says, and I wish I wasn't paraphrasing, but I am because I don't know the exact quote. But he was comparing himself, obviously, to who is Justin, right? Because Justin showed up, and he was like, "I don't want you to pick me for how I make you." Like he's like, "I made you feel happy," and he didn't want the credit for that. He didn't want the credit for being the guy that made her feel happy, feel loved, feel good. He didn't want that credit. No. Not for being the good guy. He wanted to be like just picked because he was special, even if he was a piece of shit. And I get what he was trying to say, but think about that. Like those words were coming out of his mouth. He's like, well, I don't want to be chosen because like I made you feel good. I want to be chosen because I'm special. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I feel like maybe it is time to get into the Aaron Genevieve
sure.
stuff.
But I just think that like that, and not to like pick on Aaron too much here. I think Aaron is more the norm in
well, because I don't think he wanted to be just the opposite of Justin or just who was left after the Justin thing fell through. That was like the main part of the argument because he wanted it to be because their connection was better and their connection was stronger. And even if her relationship with Justin was great and perfect, she still wanted him.
But she didn't though. Like she gave him no reasons to actually think that. All she said is she like, again, these people are prioritizing this connection. What is a fucking connection if it's not based on something? But they just want it to be based off of like God, literally God coming down and being like, you guys are connected. You're special. Your aromas are just like taking off. And it's like, that's what they want. What they don't want is that their connection is based off of something tangible. Like, you know what? You make me feel safe and validated and seen. And you make me feel like you get me. And I laugh with you and we have fun together. Like,
and you listen to me.
And you listen to me.
Yeah.
No, I don't want that. No. I just want to be special.
Totally.
Wild stuff. But I mean, fascinating.
And I thought like the start of because the fight kind of started with them at the bar and they're giving
slamming
some
up the
context.
glass.
Yes. And then like someone's like, how did it happen? And then Genevieve talked mad shit about Justin. She was like, he has a shitty personality.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, false alarm. I was like, okay, go for it. And then she's with Aaron at the bar talking to Wells. And Aaron's like, yeah, basically like Justin kind of fucked it up, and then I came in and like Genevieve and my connection was so much stronger. And then Jen is like, no, actually him and I were having trouble. Justin and I were having trouble, and then I met Aaron. And then Aaron like slams his glass and walks away.
Semantics, yeah.
But it felt relatable in the sense of like, it felt like a really good illustration of how two people can have totally different realities. Where like Aaron's reality was like, yeah, like I found this girl, and she's like, no, it wasn't that he was great. It was that we were having trouble. Like,
yeah, because
she goes
he
out of her way
said
to say that.
our connection was stronger, and she was like, well, no. And then it was like, she negates the fact that he says that their connection is stronger, and that's why she chose him. And then she basically makes it seem like Justin didn't work out, so Aaron was the last one standing, or he was like the default afterwards.
That's not what she said, though.
No, I know, but I think that's how
he heard
That's how he
interpreted
took it.
Yeah, and that's
but
why he stormed
I
off.
took it as Genevieve not wanting to like shit on Justin. And then she literally said, well, like
Although, wait, when has she ever not wanted to shit on Justin?
That's
He
true.
has a shitty personality.
But yeah, it's semantics. I took it as more Genevieve wanted to speak to the specifically why she felt more connected to Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the whole story.
The story Aaron wanted Genevieve to tell is I walked down and I instantly knew it was Aaron based off of nothing.
I heard angels sing, and I looked up and there he
Aaron,
was.
and it was glowing.
And he had a halo behind his head.
And Genevieve's
his
like,
abs glistened.
And he had a best friend who I thought, wow, that best friend should come with us everywhere we go.
yeah,
Third wheel.
That's what Aaron wanted. And Genevieve wanted to be like, well, no, I mean, like, we had conversations, and I felt like he really understood me, and blah, blah, blah. She wanted to, like, give, like, some meat behind the why. That's all she wanted to do.
Well, and I think the difference is she, I think, was adding details, and he thought she was trying to, like,
override,
swap them out.
Yeah. Aaron needs so much therapy. It's unbelievable.
But then it continued down on the daybed, where they're all just laying one giant pillow with every cast member.
Well, yeah, before you even get to the daybed, like, at first...
There's lots of places to sit.
They want to be a unit.
Genevieve comes up, and, like, Aaron's like, it's fine, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. And then I honestly thought I literally thought that they were going to show Genevieve, like, overreacting. Like, maybe Aaron wasn't mad. Maybe he just, like, he's a giant man who just doesn't know how to gently put a cup down, and maybe he had to go to the bathroom. That's honestly what I thought. And at first she was like, no, it's cool. I'm like, what? He literally played dumb. Then I literally was like, oh, Genevieve's overreacting. There's nothing there. And then out of nowhere, he just, I kind of hated that for Aaron.
I think it also speaks to, like, they really listen to each other. I think they really read each other. They know exactly, like, they're very, very connected physically, emotionally, and mentally. And so I think I was like, wow, Genevieve really knows Aaron. Like, she knew exactly from the way he walked away, like, this is what's happening. And I think he was being kind of terse with her when she first came up and found him.
What a word of the day.
Yeah, can we get a definition?
Terse, it's like when you're, like, being a little bit, like, slightly short, but not in an aggressive way.
Is it like a synonym for curt?
Curt, yeah.
Sure.
But I also thought it was, and maybe this is just because I don't know why I found this impressive, but the second that Aaron left, she literally was standing there and she was like, what did I say? What did I say? Like, she was trying to think back to what she said and how she said it, and was asking the people around her. And Wells was like, no, maybe he just had to go to the bathroom or something.
Everyone's like, it's fine.
And she was like really trying to review like what just happened, break it down.
And she figured it out. She was like, it's because I said I had.
I would have loved Aaron to have said something like, I'm feeling a little hurt right now. And honestly, I think I'm just dealing with some insecurities, and I don't want to blame you because I don't know if you did anything. I don't think you did anything wrong, but like some of the things that were said hurt my feelings, and maybe we can talk about it. And
he didn't get there until she started getting really emotionally escalated.
Yeah, because she could read him, and she knew something was wrong, and he wasn't giving her. She wanted to figure this out, and like it's a very defeating feeling to know that there's something wrong, and your partner's not communicating with you what that is, and yet they're being cold and saying things like it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Well, it's not fine.
Clearly, it's not.
We're not okay, and she wanted it to be okay, and what a terrible feeling to feel.
Totally. Yeah, and I think he was definitely just being kind of like gruff and like not super like keyed into. Like, I don't know. It didn't seem like he was being like, we're a team, let's figure this out in this moment. It felt like he was identifying his own wants and needs. Like, I wonder if Aaron has maybe felt like he signed up, like he signed a contract for maybe a little bit more than he wanted, just because like Genevieve was very clear about like the kind of like physical affection and attention she wants from a partner, and he was very good about like delivering on that. And I wonder if like the combination of him like wanting to hang out with the guys all the time and then like being really defensive about like making sure his point of view was heard, like when she asked him, hey, can we talk alone, and he was like yes, And then she was like, why did you hesitate? And he was like, because it matters when I want to talk too.
He was like,
I
so
love
it's
her
just your
response.
timeline.
Are you fucking kidding me? And she walked away. That was gold.
And then she goes, you can tell him I'm leaving to a
I thought Genevieve. I had no notes for Genevieve these 2 episodes. I thought she pitched a perfect game.
Oh my God. And the daybed. Like the daybed. Like all of them
Which one
together.
happened first? Oh no, the bed happened first.
Yeah, because then when he walks away from the daybed, she finds him. And he
Wait, she
No,
has-
and then
she
has
goes
her
to
back.
pack.
She passed her
goes
back.
to pack
Packs,
after the day
goes
bed.
to tell him.
Victoria's running. She's locking her out
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
room.
Well, she's walking away with the bags, and he finds her through the path, and they meet.
Yeah, that's at the
in
very
middle.
end.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was another music example where before the commercial break, they played it with this like dramatic, like dun 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 dun, like very intense. And then after the commercial break, they played it with the like no 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 like kind of music, and it was 2 different scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to vent. You all know it's coming. Gaslighting.
Please.
It's
Pop off.
can we stop? Can we just stop? Like, this is a perfect example. Thank you, Victoria, for saying what is true, that Aaron doesn't know what he's talking about, and that was stupid for him to say. Like, gaslighting, it does not mean you feel manipulated. That's not what gaslighting is, people. Stop saying
Gaslighting is
you're-
not we disagree on facts.
Yes. Or like having a different interpretation of an argument. Here's the thing about, like, we went from, gaslighting, and then we've taken this definition of like, oh, I'm being made to feel crazy. I don't know about you guys, but have you been in a fight with a partner before?
Yes.
Have you been in a fight with?
No.
Have you been in a fight with someone?
You with someone? Yes.
Yeah. Have you been in a fight?
Oh, yeah.
With someone?
for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel?
During the fight?
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Like
Right?
the rug's being
Mhm.
pulled out from under you.
Like when and
It's
if
like,
you're
how do you not understand
if you're
me?
in a
you know?
Yeah.
relationship with someone that you normally get along with, who's normally your ride or die and your best friend, the person you go to for every other problem, and you're fighting with them, how do you usually feel? You feel fucking nuts sometimes, because why are you fighting? Because what you tried to have is a conversation, and now it's escalated because we're not on the same page into a fight. So most fights these days in relationships, you're going to feel crazy. So stop saying, oh, you're fucking gaslighting just because you feel crazy in that moment. Or maybe your partner said something that sounded a little manipulative or passive aggressive, because at the end of the day, being passive aggressive is a form of being manipulative. And you can't, if you start extrapolating that to like, well, I feel manipulated and I feel crazy, you're gaslighting me. That's not what it is, people. Gaslighting is a form of abuse. It's a real thing. It's a form of abuse. Because gaslighting is like a systematic, ongoing thing. A big part of it is like a pattern of behavior. Like if Aaron, let's say Genevieve, for example, was covertly talking all this shit about like all of Aaron's friends and trying to convince Aaron that all his friends were bad and that they didn't like him, and then like started like stealing some of Aaron's shit to make him feel, and then blaming it on his friends so that he couldn't trust his friends anymore. And then Genevieve started like tearing him apart and making him feel bad about himself, and like sticking into his insecurities and blah, 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 and doing this over and over so that Aaron truly felt crazy and felt like he had no friends and felt like that's gaslighting. This is not fucking gaslighting. Stop fucking calling gaslighting just because you think you're feeling manipulated in a moment with a fight with a partner, or you're having a disagreement, or you're on 2 different pages. That's a fight. It's a disagreement. It's not fucking gaslighting.
Go off, King.
All right.
Well said.
We
Christ.
clap for marriages, engagements, and rants about gaslighting in this room.
And while I'm at it, love bombing is not 2 people getting excited and expressing feelings and someone changing their mind. That's not love bombing. Love bombing is saying those words as a way to elicit a response. It's you're trying to get something from them. Like you're trying to not have them break up with you because you caught them cheating. Oh, baby, but I love you. Or you're trying to like get them to hook up with you and have sex, and you're like, but I love you. Like, let's hook up. Like, you're trying to get something from them. It's not just getting fucking excited and being immature with your emotions and feelings and then realizing maybe I didn't like you as much as I thought I did.
Yeah.
That's not love bombing. That's being fucking immature. Anyway.
Well, can we actually talk about when Aaron is like Genevieve? They were after the I think the daybed fight or something. Aaron's like talking to somebody in the hot tub, and he's like, "Yeah, no, dude, she's like gaslighting me, bro." And then they're like talking about it, and then wait, look at that wave. Do you see that wave? Do you see that fucking wave over there? What are they? Do you see that? I was like laughing my ass off at that, and then they go back to the conversation.
It is so they're so broy.
So
They're
broy.
so broy. I do think to that point, Davis, like it just speaks to like the maturity level of some of the men. and some of that's what I don't get about Aaron. It's just like, what do you hear? I know you had like a love affair with your bestie last season, but this show is about finding love and hopefully an engagement. And like him and Genevieve are really fucking cute. They're fun to root for. I like them together. But like, your girl just wants to spend some time, bro.
She wants to tell you that she's
10 minutes.
falling in love with you.
Forget about, like, even if it's not that.
Yeah.
You know? Because I don't want it to make it seem like, well, you want to tell me you, because when she said that, like, oh, he softened. But what if she just wanted to fucking hang out for 10 more minutes?
That's allowed too.
In a time in which time is limited, the expectations and engagement, or at least a serious commitment to one another, and he wants to what? Bro out? You know? It's too inconvenient.
Sharks and minnows, baby.
It's too inconvenient. He's like, oh, hung out with her all day. Hang out with her more, dude. Like, this is about figuring out if you're compatible and diving deeper and having more and more and more and more and more conversations about just how compatible you are or aren't.
It's also like, I have a personal stake in this, where it's just like, just because I'm there doesn't mean we're spending quality time together. Like, just because I'm in the room when you're with your friends does not mean this is quality time. Like, it's one thing if like we're engaged and like I feel like you're talking to me and include, like, that can be quality time, but it doesn't automatically apply like that. And it seems like Aaron has just been so obtuse about being like, we spend all day together.
Yeah, no. Classic.
I'm like, you're on a daybed with 45 other people. Like, that ain't quality time.
I mean, Aaron sounded like a kid in high school in this episode.
He did. Did you, when you were, for your like Paradise experience, did you find there was kind of a divide of like the men liking to bro out more? Or like, it seems like specifically they're big game players. Like, they like sharks and minnows. They like the football. Like,
I was like, straight men in a pool. Oh my God, they're like pushing the water.
Hold your breath, man. We all had fun as a group, like, and I certainly like hung out with the guys, but I hung out with the women too. It was not broy.
Nick was hosting like Ask Nick segments like out on a daybed, and he's like, you have to tell him, Jessica.
I mean, I was like the big brother, but there wasn't like so much broiness that I do think it's kind of wild. No, I guess that's what I'm saying. It's just like, it seems so excessive that it's a thing.
and maybe that's why we see like Kate and Eliza using this language of like, can you please choose me? Like, I wonder if maybe like the women as a whole feel a little bit like under attended to because of all this like broy happy guy time in the pool.
Maybe. Yeah, because I thought Kate, it was bizarre just how open she was about this her decision to accept a date. She wanted it to bother Logan.
Oh, yeah. We should probably talk about Hayden and
Justice
Rambo.
for Rambo, man. Why are you not spending time with your dog if he's that close to death?
What do we think about spending like 6 figures on a dog surgery?
Nick would do it.
Yeah. I'd probably do anything for Jeff at this point.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah,
I wouldn't, if it was so bad, I tell you what, I wouldn't be fucking going to.
Well, that's the thing. It's like he's using it as his story and why it's such a testament to why he's there and how seriously he takes it. He did the same thing on the Bachelorette season. I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to like pursue something with you because I should be with Rambo. That excuse, you can use that once. And then when I see you on Bachelor in Paradise, it doesn't.
Now it sounds like you're using your dog.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're using your dog. Also, not to get off track, but like, did you notice when Hayden came down? And I think this is either lazy editing or they didn't know how to edit around it and they hope we wouldn't notice. But when Hayden came down, and Johnny jumped up to give him like a real bro hug. Jumped. And was like, hey man. And then seconds later, you have an ITM of Johnny being like, Hayden's a bad dude. Like, I don't know why. Like, people shouldn't trust Hayden. So either it was, what I'm certain happened is that Johnny liked Hayden, thought it was cool, forgot about what Hayden said and did, like Logan didn't forget. And someone reminded him of it. And so he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go in an ITM and start like talking some shit. But I don't know. If that's the case, do we think Johnny's fake and sincere?
What if he's so scared of Hayden that he's like, I can't let him know that I hate him, so I'm going to act like we're friends?
No. He jumped up. He jumped up to greet him.
I feel
that was a man who was excited that his friend arrived on the beach. I know that feeling. you get excited when your friends show up.
I think the only way to give Johnny benefit of the doubt is by being like, he recognizes this person and he's like, oh, like I know this guy. Like this isn't another rando. And
He
also,
said-
maybe Johnny's aware of the fact that it's like, what a fucking nightmare joining the beach at this stage in the season. Nightmare. You're painted as a homewrecker the second you walk down those steps.
Also in the dark during a bonfire, like not the vibe, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that Johnny, in that split-second moment, had this empathetic, rational thought that I want to make this man feel welcomed, only to talk shit about him behind his back? No.
I don't say that I believe that, but I think that is the positive
We're
interpretation.
pitching ideas here. We're seeing
Just
what's
pitching ideas?
No bad ideas in brainstorming.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, but I do know there's something funny going on.
What did we think about Kate deciding to go on the date?
I thought her and Logan were a thing, all in.
I mean, after they like weathered the whole storm of their relationship, and she literally told Logan a couple episodes ago that she was going to be like the life raft of their relationship, and he could lean on her, and she would be the one keeping them afloat. Like she used this whole beautiful language,
And unlike
she jumped ship.
And unlike Eliza and Rodney, whatever Eliza did or didn't get to like witness through that relationship, Kate was very much involved in the drama with
Logan.
and Shanae,
Right.
and confronted her, and it was a thing, and just that energy must have taken it took energy, right? She had to fight for this relationship, only for her to what? Like now just go on a date with Hayden?
And when Hayden pulls her aside, she's like, my advice would be to like fight for who you want. You know what I mean? She's like, I did that too. And I thought that when she was talking to him, I thought she was going to say like, and I'm with Logan, I'm very happy. And
But
like,
she didn't.
But she didn't.
Yeah.
I
But
literally
that was
thought
kind of the
that they walked
tone.
away from that conversation, and Hayden was like, okay, she's off limits. And he asks her.
But didn't it almost make you think that like if you're Hayden in that moment and she doesn't say that, maybe it makes you think that she's just like,
Fight for me if you want it.
Yeah, man,
you want
I am
a slice of the cake.
yeah,
You gotta-
I'm open.
yeah.
Yeah.
And well, I feel like also Kate knows that she's she's clearly super charming. She's like confident. She's like a confident person who I would think she would think of herself as like charismatic and charming. I think with her and Logan, it was a bit of like game meets game. Like, okay, I see that you're also like a charming, like well-liked person.
Okay.
And I wonder if this date was kind of her wanting to like just remind Logan, like, hey, by the way, like
It seemed like
Yeah,
it. I mean,
it
she
There's
was
a
Doesn't
game
seem
plan
like to
going
me.
on.
yeah, but it's kind of toxic of her.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's clearly not into Hayden. And she literally said his priorities weren't in the right place.
Also, on that date when they go ziplining, and Hayden is having a good time on the zipline. He's just like screaming, having fun. He's a little nervous, as most people are. And she's on the interview. She's like, I don't want a man who's like scared. Like, I'm like, it's a ziplining across a mountain, and he's barely even scared. He's like, oh, he's just kind of screaming.
she's
you
acting
get-
like he's like standing on a curb at like the grocery store, and it's like, I can't do it.
Right? She's like, I need a strong man. It's like, what? I did not understand that. She's like, obviously, he's not the type, the guy for me. It's she was saying.
it's
I was
like you're looking for an out immediately.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
were-
You're looking for a problem. You're looking for a problem.
There were definitely many hints from these women on these two episodes of desiring, more, toxic masculine energy, and not just masculine, but kind of like not. They didn't want a guy to express fear, or they wanted a guy to not let their girl go out with another guy, not communicate, it was kind of interesting. Just that kind of openness about the type of energy that they wanted out of a man, many of which would call a bit toxic in nature. And not like, hey, I want a man to lead. Like, say, that's fine. That's not toxic. Masculinity is not toxic, but some forms of it are. And shaming a guy for expressing fear of, say, heights. If you're afraid of I'm not afraid of heights, but like if you are, I imagine that ziplining might be a little terrifying.
Yeah. I think all the women really want to be chased. Like they're like, I'm not chasing, you chase me.
Well, I think all the people want to be chased. Everyone on the beach wants to be chased. And everyone's more focused on if they're being validated rather than how they're making someone feel. I find it fascinating.
I feel like that's modern dating. Everybody wants to be chased. And then when there is somebody who's actually chasing, it's like, okay, desperate. What's wrong with them?
Ick.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, it's wild.
can't win.
No, it's absolutely wild that like making someone feel good is not a quality these people are valuing. It is simply just being wanted more than someone else, ideally based off of nothing. Because the less you base it off, the more special I am, the more my aroma and energy or whatever it is, the more fate it is. Because if I show you the reasons to like me, then it's less special.
Yeah, like if I'm
because
earning
anyone can show you. You know, I just want you to like me for who I am, is how Aaron said it. It's just like, I understand wanting to be accepted, but you have to let someone get to know you first. You have to build a rapport, a foundation. You have to show them that you're willing to communicate, and you have to show them that you're not always reactive when you're disappointed. And then you show them some of your quirks and your insecurities, and they go, you know what? I still love you and I accept you because we have this foundation. And yeah, sometimes you can be rude and or goofy, or like, honestly, it's a little weird when you scream because you're on a ladder. But like, I love you, you know, like it's stuff like that, you know. But no, all these people just want to just be accepted for who they are, while the person has no fucking clue who they are. Like, how do we do that? Like, maybe, Aaron, if you spent more fucking time with your girlfriend, you could show her who you are so that she could fucking accept you.
Totally.
Aaron.
Do we have any other?
Aaron.
I don't.
Davis and I are like, hey.
Here's what I've realized about Aaron. Where do you stand on Aaron?
I think it's just it goes without saying. I don't like Aaron.
Yeah. But like for Natalie,
it needs therapy. Like you said.
Instant ick. You love.
Yep.
Despite his ick.
Yep.
Who do you love? Who do you love?
She loves Aaron. But like a lot of people do.
Why?
You look betrayed.
I thought we all were agreeing.
That was a jump scare.
You're like,
huh? How could you betray me? Yeah.
Allie's not alone. There are a lot of women out
Here's
there in
what
Bachelor
did it
Nation
for
who
me.
like Aaron.
I didn't like him, and then I saw a TikTok of him driving his G-Wagon one time, and that was what did it for me.
Did it for you? Wait,
he drives a G-Wagon?
Mm-hmm. Or at least
that,
he had one in a TikTok. He might have borrowed it.
So he's not good with his money, or I don't know what he makes. And short of that's a $200,000 car.
Well, Rambo cost 6 figures.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Genevieve and Aaron are good for each other and going to last?
You know, interestingly enough, like, well, do you?
From that fight, I was like, oh, they're done, and then all of a sudden they were hugging, kissing, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe they could be. I don't know, because I think Victoria and the other girl that were hearing the conversation from behind the bushes were saying, oh, they're fighting because they care about each other. That's why they're fighting. But to me, it didn't really seem that way. But then I was like, I could see it.
I actually like them, and clearly, you know, all the things we talked about, I think they could work on the communication. I think Aaron needs a shit ton of therapy. I think there's something he kind of referenced. This guy's dealing with some shit. I don't know what. I don't know why. I don't know where it comes from. But he's got a lot to work through. His comments
about when I'm back in the real world, or like later on in life when I'm going through the really rough parts, I'm gonna want to be back on this beach. Like there was something in that tone where I was like, "What's waiting for him bach home?"
No, I mean,
like what are these dark moments you're talking about?
Remember last season and Katie's season on In Paradise, where his arch rival, his arch enemy, as he referred to him, was Thomas. And Thomas is someone who's just a little taller and a little better looking. By a lot, I think Aaron sees that, and I think Aaron, despite him being in a very attractive guy, he's super tall and in great shape, and has a lot going for him. I think Aaron, for whatever reason, has always been a B player in his world, and he's always felt like he's played second fiddle to someone else, and I think he's always wanted to be the star, and I think he's always feels he's been invalidated on some level, whether that's through his own interpretation or something actually happening. But I think like his rivalry with Thomas had more to do, like it was all made up in Aaron's head.
Yeah, I would be so curious to ask Aaron, like, what is your definition of masculinity? Because it seems like there's some like kind of stereotypical toxic ones of like confrontational, fight, drop the gloves, defend people, like kind of, I don't know. He seems like a real like sports guy.
Should
like
I slide on in. Hey,
all you.
Question. What's your definition of masculinity?
Yeah.
But I do
also,
think,
are you free on Friday?
I do think maybe you have to Friday, 7 p.m. There's a spot I've been wanting to try.
Yeah.
I think you should shoot your shot with him, honestly.
Isn't he, do we not think they're in a relationship?
Oh, they're probably still dating.
Good. You're right.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing is if Genevieve and Johnny are having that fight, oh boy, toxic. There's something about Johnny and Victoria, if they're having that fight, toxic. With Aaron and Genevieve, it's like, okay, they're both reactive. They're both pretty dramatic.
I'm
and I say
rooting
that
for
with
them.
no shade. Like,
I'm rooting.
some people are dramatic. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason why you say that is because it's very clear that Aaron and Genevieve like know each other so well.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we can get through this. Like, I know what you're thinking. Like, we just have to talk it out.
Yeah.
And we'll hash out. It's be over. Whereas, like, Victoria's like, I don't even know what you're thinking about, Johnny. I don't even know who you are. You know, that's what I think.
I think to answer your question, I think there's a lot of compatibility and a lot to like about Aaron and Genevieve. And I think they have a lot of potential, and I think they could really make it work. And I think if they don't make it work, it's because they didn't do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they learn from these these arguments, because it didn't feel like Aaron was like pressuring Genevieve to stay. Like, he said what she needed. Like, he spoke to her concerns. And then can we talk about how horny they were after? And like, they were not
I'm here
keeping it
for
in
it.
their pants.
They went straight into, well, he rolls her suitcase back up to the messy girls' room. Then they get a round of shots with everybody. And then she's like mounting him in the midair after they do their round of shots.
And
Like, it was
he's ass grabbing while this is
it
happening.
is 1 p.m. Like,
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. You know, I mean, I do think they're really adorable. There's a lot to like. And I think you make a good point. The question is, will they learn? Like, the next time Aaron feels a little confused or a little hurt by something Genevieve says, and vice versa, will he chill the fuck out and just say, hey, babe, like, maybe I'm interpreting what you said. You know, maybe I'm being sensitive, you know, I'm feeling a little insecure about this, but can we talk?
Right.
And then they just talk.
Yeah, and maybe Genevieve like goes out of her way to like notice and show him that she's considering him, even though I don't think she's been falling short on that. But I think sometimes like after you have an argument, even if you're like, I don't think I was in the wrong for this, it still can be a really good move to like cater
Sure.
to that within, if it's authentic.
Well, every reactive person needs to learn the very tough lesson, which is, while your feelings are very validated, because all feelings are valid, it doesn't mean you're right about the situation. And I think we often, in the moment when we, like, Aaron feels right because he knows his feelings, he feels his feelings, and his feelings are saying, I'm not being understood. That hurt my feelings. You said this, blah, blah, blah. And that's how he feels. And he equates that to feeling right and justified. And he focuses on that with his conversation with Genevieve before checking in with her and asking her what she meant or how it came across or how she might be feeling because of how he reacted, et cetera, et cetera.
Wowie. What a wedding.
Any Davis, final thoughts?
Final thoughts?
Who are you most excited about?
Honestly, I'm excited to see. It wasn't really shown in the past 2 episodes, but I'm excited to see Danielle and Michael. What goes down with them?
Oh, yeah, we didn't really talk about them. I just don't. I guess this doesn't seem to be much to show. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Brandon and Serene moment. They don't ever show them because they're happy.
Also,
happy.
love Michael, but like if Michael is stumping for my relationship, I don't know how confident that makes me feel. Because every time Michael's like, yeah, there's nothing's going to come between these two. And the next thing you know, they're like sucking face underneath fireworks. Michael's always in camp team already together. And he's like, yeah, nothing can break them apart. This is the strongest relationship ever. Next scene, sucking face.
The fireworks to fuck with them moment.
Yeah,
the classic Bachelor.
Yeah, twins showed up. They seem nice.
Yeah.
Good for them to get some airtime.
Yeah.
You know,
Just Joey Silver, Justin Gold, or whatever it was.
And y'all are matching, both of you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You had to have seen each other when there was still time to change. You liked it.
Yeah.
No,
You
they
saw that you were-
purposely wore the same thing.
Oh,
you
for
liked
sure.
it. It's fine.
Outfit was
They
planned.
kept saying we didn't plan
in
this.
advance.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I don't
And it was
believe
like-
that.
Hello?
So they're liars. It's
Yeah.
fine. They're liars. But they seem nice.
Yes. And I love like a destigmatized cougar moment.
Yeah, they're young.
Like,
Also,
I love a
way
non-desperate
too much
cougar.
emphasis on the fact that they're young. They're the same age
Yeah.
as a lot of the people there.
Oh, when Aaron was trying to like tell jokes, and which he does often, many of which don't land. They end up being mean. But he said to Michael, he's like, yeah, when you were having a kid when they were kids. I think it was his joke. And Michael was like, yeah.
But then by the end, he was like, yeah, I was getting my driver's license while they were being born.
But yeah, it's like the amount of people there who are 25 and 26, not crazy amount older than 24.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people like Brittany, for example, is 25. She was on Matt James's season. That was 2 years ago. So I'm like, a lot of these people's first seasons, they were 22 or 23.
So who's going to end up together? Who's not? Genevieve and Aaron, do they get engaged or are they just dating?
Ooh.
I think
I think they leave
engagement.
together. I just don't know if there's going to be a ring on their finger. I think Victoria and Johnny will get engaged
Really?
because in one of the teasers, there was a photo or a video of a ring being put on a girl's fingers, and they all do like gel X and acrylics, so their manicures stay the same. And it was a French tip manicure, and that's what she has on her hands.
That's why we have Allie here. She's an important thing. She knows these things.
Knows the facts.
The
Yep.
acrylic tips.
And Brandon and Serene, I think, get
Yeah,
married.
that'll get.
I mean, not
For
married.
sure.
Well,
Yeah,
engaged.
they could get married on the goddamn beach. They really could.
For sure.
Their
They're
date
gonna like
is an
have a baby
actual
announcement.
wedding.
Yeah.
That's the next step. You know, just get right to that wedding. Just do it right there.
Yeah.
Michael and Danielle, are you together?
Together but not engaged.
Leave together. He wants James to meet her first.
Davis, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Please let my audience know where they can find you, all the great things you're doing, all the projects you're working on.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Davis Burleson. And if you want to watch my show, it's called What's Poppin' Show, Instagram and TikTok.
Talk a little bit about your show.
I have an interview show on TikTok where I interview strangers in Washington Square Park, ask them random questions about relationships, fashion, whatever I want to talk about. We talk about Starbucks pastries, anything. It's very fun. And yes, that's what I do.
Any tips for us for men on the street type of stuff?
Man on the street, just
Because you're kind of doing that, right? You're
yeah. You gotta be confident. Gotta own it. And gotta make the person feel as welcome as possible.
All right.
We keep getting busted by mall cops.
Are y'all doing it? Have y'all done it?
We've done it a few times. We're doing it more and more.
It's fun, right? I know I started in a mall actually, and it kept getting busted, so then I moved it to the park.
Okay.
But y'all should try like Hollywood Boulevard or something.
Hollywood Boulevard.
That would be.
Have you been to the promenade in Santa Monica?
No.
I think we should go. I can't this Saturday. But we should go to outside a bungalow on a Saturday afternoon
For people waiting in line.
and leaving. Like
Yeah.
at like 4 or 5 p.m.
Yeah.
The day drinking crowd.
Oh yeah, the day drinking crowd is always good. That's why I only film on Sunday afternoons. The post
Bungalow
brunch.
is like a Hollis
Interesting.
bar with
Sunday,
mimosa.
okay, Sunday
Oh, yeah.
afternoons, yeah.
Oh yeah, like afternoon is always good. Like a Saturday, Sunday is always great.
Okay. It's good to know.
Like a weekdays, you don't even bother.
What if we went somewhere that has bottomless mimosa brunch?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
People will tell all.
Oh, yeah.
Literally they will. But yeah. I also I'm on the radio, Sirius XM, every day, TikTok Radio, Channel 4. Yeah.
TikTok Radio Channel 4.
Yes.
Shout out.
Check it out. Well, follow our good friend Davis. Check out all his great stuff. It's really wonderful, funny, and just enjoy to watch. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to check out Going Deeper with Michelle Collins. All things Love is Blind, and we'll be rating celebrity Halloween costumes and much, much more. Talking about divorce, giving up everything from one more football game. What the fuck, Tom? I don't get it.
All downhill since he left the Patriots.
Well, he didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't care. He had more than enough rings.
See you next time, everybody.
Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. But before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Mondays Ask Nick, especially if you're looking for some relationship stories and relationship advice, as well as our Wednesday interviews with your favorite celebrities and experts. See you next time.